Dear friends, Precious D here. We had some technical issues this week which caused us to have to record the episode on our phones. That worked out fine for Honeybee, but not so well for myself. So I want to apologize in advance for the poor sound quality of this episode. Also, we have an interview with TJ Storn on this episode, but because the sound of the rest of the episode is so bad, I'm going to also upload that separately as a bonus mini episode. Again, I apologize. Do your best to enjoy the show anyway, and thank you for listening.
1, 2, 3, 4. Monster movie.
Fun time, go! Monster movie.
Fun time, go. Monster
Movie.
Fun time.
Go!
Monster movie. Fun time, go.
With Precious D and Honeybee.
Fun time, go!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, welcome to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. I am one of your hosts, Precious D.
And I'm the other one of your hosts, Honeybee.
Honeybee, we've got an interview later in the show that we did at G-Fest.
Ooh.
We're going to have our interview with Mr. TJ Storn.
Oh my
Godzilla
goodness.
himself.
I'm so excited for you guys to hear this interview. It's really good.
I was thinking of saving his for last, but we discussed some topical things that might, if I save them for last, they might not be topical anymore. So I'm going to put him first.
Hell yeah. Good idea.
So we'll take a little break later and have that interview. But right now, what are we talking about, Honeybee?
Oh my goodness, you guys. Well, first of all, just so you know, if this is your first time here, welcome. We are two best friends making our way through the history of kaiju movies. We started in 1933 with the original King Kong, and we have made it to the 90s, baby. We are talking about the Power Rangers. Morphin time! Go Power Rangers!
Aye. We've been doing this for 2 years now. I labeled last episode as 2-year anniversary, but I can't remember if we actually discussed it on that episode.
2 years. That's amazing.
Yeah.
2 years and we made it to the 90s.
7/16, I believe, was the day 2 years ago that our first episode aired. Yes,
Wow.
It is 1995, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie.
The movie.
It is directed by Brian Spicer in his feature film debut. I think he had directed some television before this. This is his first movie.
Nice.
Story, such as it is, by John Cramps and Arn Olson. It's in color. It is 96 minutes, cost $15 million, and made $66.4 million.
Woo-wee.
So there you go. This came out between the second and third seasons of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So it was still a new thing here in the U.S., but doing well enough that they decided to make a movie out of it.
Yay.
Is that your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, I was 4 when this movie came out, so it was specifically geared towards me. You know what I mean?
Girls.
Yeah. Towards kids. It was a big deal. And so it was really crazy because I probably haven't seen this movie since, I don't know, maybe 98 or 99 maybe was the last time I saw this movie. But it was definitely one of those movies that was when a kid is obsessed with a movie and they just watch it over and over, they could watch it and then restart it and then watch it and restart it.
Yeah.
This was one of those movies for me.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah, so to actually get to watch it now and go back, it's one of those things where it's when you grew up with it, it just like hits you in that like nostalgia button, and all of the
Yeah.
silly one-liners and the music and all of those things just give you all the feels. So I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. And I really enjoyed, going back to it and kind of revisiting because it's hysterically bad, and that just makes it so good. You know what I mean? It's so good and so
Yeah.
bad, and so much love.
So there are things from when I was a child that are not good, but that I have warm and fuzzy feelings about,
Yeah.
like Land of the Lost and many other things from Sid and Marty Krofft. So I understand, but it's hard for me to get on board because I was a grown ass man when this came out.
Yeah. Did you see it then, or did you like wait until?
Not,
Because I know you have younger siblings.
I think I saw it on HBO or something. I have a feeling this
Mhm.
ran on HBO a lot.
It did. It did. And I watched this movie on YouTube, and at the beginning, there's like the HBO, like some, like it's
Yes.
like HBO, la 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 la.
Yeah, folks, more than one person has just straight up unofficially uploaded this thing to YouTube. Somebody had recorded it right off of their HBO.
Yeah.
Oh my god! So this is the first. Okay, we discussed Power Rangers a little bit, didn't we? In the
Yeah,
past?
like very little. Just because, like, them taking America, taking like the Jap, like splicing.
Yeah. I guess it came up. Folks, this episode is being recorded on our phones, and I probably won't be editing out a lot of coughing, so deal with it.
Well, I mean, like all the other podcasts you listen to, we're only human.
Yes. Anyway, I don't know what I was saying.
You were saying that we talked about it before, that we talked about Power Rangers.
Yeah, a little bit. So in case anyone who doesn't know, and there might be people who actually watch Power Rangers who don't know, Power Rangers was an American adaptation of a long-running Japanese meta series, loosely called Super Sentai. The first Power Rangers series, I think, used footage from the 15th Super Sentai series.
Wow.
They had a bit of a head start. Yes, it used footage from Gosei Sentai Dairanger. No, I'm sorry. This movie was based on that, but Kyoryu Sentai Zouranger? Anyway, Sentai basically means task force or team or strike force or squad. Yeah, little group of people that go out and do shit.
Gang, bitch.
Yeah, but not team in the sports sense, in the strike team kind of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this movie is the first Power Rangers thing that doesn't just use footage. It's all original. It doesn't just use Super Sentai footage. Once you are aware of that, if you go and watch an old Power Rangers episode, it becomes really clear how most of the stuff with the suits is not them, and how they just ripped the scene and plopped it into the Power Rangers without having it. I actually watched the first episode of Power Rangers, and then the first episode of the Sentai thing is based on, and the fight was almost completely different. Wow. The scene with Rita getting let out of her cage on the moon was the same, but then the scenes with the people getting recruited and all that stuff was very different, and the person that was recruiting them was a very different kind of person. Anyway, this is between the second and third seasons of Power Rangers, but it contradicts the third season of Power Rangers.
Wah wah.
In this movie, we see why they get their new suits, but in the third series, they give a different reason for them giving their new suits. They don't just assume you watch the movie and move forward from there. They
shit.
redo it in a different way, so it's actually a separate continuity.
Well, damn it.
From the TV show, which is very weird.
That's funny.
Yeah. So
but also, I feel like also kids don't give a shit that much.
No. But I guess they just didn't want to assume that they had all seen the movie, although that could have been a selling point,
Yeah.
Hey, before you see this, season, you got to make sure you go out and watch that movie. Buy it on VHS. Let's look at the cast here before we get into the story such as this. Karen Ashley as Aisha Campbell. Honeybee, why do we like Karen Ashley?
Why?
Because she's from Odessa, Texas.
I thought she was from Midland.
She was born in Odessa, according to Wikipedia. She might have lived in Midland, but she's from this area. And she's now a number of the Power Rangers have come through town for one reason or another, but she does come here fairly. I think she has family here. Comes here fairly frequently, and will show up at the comic shop or whatever to do a signing.
Oh yeah.
She is the Ranger, the current Yellow Ranger, the second one in this series. Johnny Young Bosch as Adam Park, the Black Ranger. Steve Cardenas as Rocky DeSantos, the Red Ranger. Jason David Frank as Tommy Oliver, the White Ranger. That is the recently departed Jason David Frank. Amy Jo Johnson as Kimberly Hart, the Pink Ranger. David Yost as Billy Cranston, the Blue Ranger. Paul Schreier as Farkas Bulkmeyer. John Narvi as Eugene Skolovich. Paul Freeman as Ivan Ooze. Gabrielle Fitzpatrick as Dulcia. Nicholas Bell as Zoran. Petra Marie Rickson as Alpha 5. Paul Bell as Mordant. Carrie Cassie as Goldar. Mark Ginthier as Lord Zed. Julia Cortez as Rita Repulsa. Jamie Croft as Fred Kelman. Peter Mokry as Mr. Kelman. And Paul Goddard and Robert Simper as construction workers. And it features the voice of Kerrigan Mahan as Goldar, Robert L. Manahan as Zordon, Robert Axelrod as Lord Zed, Barbara Goodson as Rita Repulsa, Richard Wood as Alpha 5, and Martin G. Metcalf as Mordant. So this is because it's all new footage, it's a different Rita Repulsa. The other people are all probably not different too, but they're wearing costumes you can't tell. It's different. Playing a Hispanic woman, not a Japanese woman, playing Rita Repulsa, but the same woman doing the voiceover, so that the little kids won't notice it's not the same Rita Repulsa.
Did you say that Paul? Did you already say Paul Freeman? Did I miss it?
Yes.
Dang.
Yeah. Why?
I was just wondering because I, recognized him. Oh, I've seen this guy, even with all of his makeup and stuff, he has, the faces he makes and stuff is very noticeably his face. You know what I mean? So I just recognized him.
What do you think you recognized him from?
I think because Gus and I just recently watched Hot Fuzz.
Okay. Yes, he is in Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, he's the, is it the preacher? The
Reverend.
priest?
Reverend Shooter. And he was the rival archaeologist Rene Belloc in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Woo!
He also is classically trained and worked at the Royal Shakespeare Company and the National Theatre, but apparently is not above playing Ivan Ooze, and he did give it 110%.
Yeah, he did.
For this nonsense show.
It's so
good. I always appreciate
it. Back.
Okay, so Honeybee, tell me your initial thoughts.
I mean, I pretty much did. I was just really excited, and I had Power Rangers sheets and Power Rangers Velcro shoes. And yeah, so I always wanted to be the Yellow Rangers because I like yellow more than pink. So shout out Aisha. And yeah, I also feel like Dulcia's was probably my first gay awakening moment because holy shit.
I mean, she is something else. She's for a kids show, she's really putting it out there.
She is spicy. But yeah, and then I was also watching this and I was like, oh my gosh, is Tommy the reason that I like dudes with ponytails? Oh, so funny. But no, I loved it. Yeah, I just mostly, I loved the Power Rangers when I was growing up, and I never like knew about the whole Japan thing and it being like just basically clips from that until we started this show. But I was a fan in the 90s for sure. So I was really excited to revisit this, and watching it, I had so much fun between the sound effects and the one-liners and the fighting and the suits. It was just it hit me in all the feels. I absolutely loved it.
Right.
I hadn't watched it sooner, and I had a blast. It made me laugh. It was so good.
Wow. I hated every minute of it.
I believe it.
But I understand, I'm not at all trying to convince you should hate it. I absolutely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
If you're curious, some of that, some of the original Japanese stuff is on Pluto and Tubi. Shout Factory releases a lot of that on DVD, and they have channels for their stuff on those streamers. And some of it you can also find on YouTube unofficially.
Yeah.
So if you're curious, check that out sometime. I have tried to get into Power Rangers, just partly because of this show and just because I know people that are really into it, so I can't do it. I watched that reunion special recently, but that was an effort.
Yeah, like after you were just too old for it.
No, I know. Yeah, I was not the target audience. I do think though that children do deserve good actors, and that shows that are made for children should maybe put in a little more effort looking for them.
But I think that they did fantastic, and that's from a 4-year-old's perspective.
Yes, they're all cast for their. I'm sure they were all cast for their athletic skills. Now, I think though in the original, I'm not sure that cast members carry over because it's usually each season or each couple of seasons there's a new premise, and I don't know how directly they are always tied into the previous show or if they are at all. But that's why there tends to be new costumes and new Zords and new themes. So we're going from Zoo Ranger, from sort of a dinosaur and prehistoric animal theme to a ninja theme, but still animals.
Ninjetti.
Yes, I don't know why the hell they called them. Why didn't they just call them ninjas? Why did they call them ninjetti? What is that supposed to mean? That's some nonsense.
It's cooler.
I guess because ninjas are assassins and they're supposed to be nice guys.
Yeah.
I guess it's time to get into the plot, such as it is. I've got the summary from Wikipedia. I'm going to see if we can start without it, because we start with skydiving.
With like words over like a spacey star background.
Oh, right. Yes. The very beginning.
Zords are.
Yes, before the skydiving, there's some like a Star Wars intro or some shit.
Yeah.
Somebody who seems to be speaking from the future, telling us about these Power Rangers and how they kept their identities secret.
The exceptional teenagers.
Yeah. Some teens with attitude, apparently. And the narrator doesn't seem to know who they are, but we, the audience, do. So we start with them in an airplane wearing color-coded jumpsuits.
Yes, wearing their respective colors,
white,
which I love.
Yeah. There's a lot of white, but they have highlights of their Ranger colors. God forbid we should try to actually hide our identities. We're always going to be color-coded to what Ranger we are. And Bulk and Skull are in the plane with them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you watch this show a lot more than I have. I thought Bulk and Skull were bullies who didn't like them.
Yeah, they are. They just didn't really like play. Like you could tell that they were the bullies, but they never bullied, which was good.
Yeah,
they were
right.
Funny though.
But
you can tell
in the
they're
regular
like
show,
bad kids.
I just thought it was weird that they were in the plane with them because I had the impression they didn't like each other.
Well, but it's not about them liking each other because they were at a jump-a-thon. It was like
Well, yes, it's a charity event.
It ends up being like an event. So it's not like they're like, "Come on, friends, let's go." No, they just happen to be doing the thing at the same time. Like,
Yeah, but also they seem like the kind of jerks who wouldn't be interested in a charity event. But I don't know. Yeah, it's somehow this jumping out of planes is going to raise money for the observatory because Ryan's comet is coming by in 2 days. I don't know that that ended up affecting the plot in any way.
Well, the biggest thing I think is that we introduce our kind of, I guess, like our Panchito.
Yes.
Sort of.
Yes, down on the ground, having already jumped the kid didn't jump, but
his dad did.
The kid I mentioned earlier, Fred and his Australian father, because this was filmed in Australia, and they obviously cast some locals. And although he was trying to sound American, he was not succeeding.
I didn't even notice, so I feel like you succeeded.
Yeah, Fred sounded American, but his father sounded like he was a local. Anyway, they're watching, and the father's already jumped, but he missed the target. And they give us a little exposition about raising the money.
And they also have a little synchronized skydiving moment.
Oh, and one of them, though, is it Tommy? One of them has jumped.
Yes, it is Tommy, because Tommy is the badass of the group.
I think I've seen that in real life, well, I mean, not, it's a thing. And I think it was a thing at the time. And I guess this lets you catch the wind in different ways. So you can do lots of tricks and twists and things. But the Power Rangers all land perfectly. However, Bulk and Skull land quite a bit off target at a construction site. And then instead of just saying, oops, sorry, we missed our target, they pretend to be building inspectors.
Which is hilarious. He's like, hey, that building is supposed to be over there.
Yeah.
Before they land, we get to see the Rangers rollerblading and doing some sweet-ass tricks, which I was like, hell yeah.
Quickly change out of their jump outfits and into rollerblades because this is a very 90s movie.
Fuck yeah. I love it. Loved it.
See, to me, I was just like, this is not advancing the plot. Why are they skating around? What is going on?
No, it was so good because they all like have this moment where they like do their little tricks and they're wearing all their colors and it's just like, oh yeah, sick. So good.
Yeah, it was just there to make them look cool.
Yeah, and it works. Especially in the 90s, when rollerblading was all the shit.
Yes. Anyway, they the construction crew uncovers a big seal, and instead of calling some, this happens. The construction crews uncover what is clearly an archaeological site, and then they just stop and check with the government or somebody, and sometimes they have to stop construction while archaeologists come in and deal with shit. Not these guys. They're just like, pop that thing open. They hook up a crane or chains or something and just pop that damn thing open.
Yep, they get the crane.
And it's there's a big egg inside.
With a claw holding it.
Yes.
That electrically zaps Gerald.
Not Gerald. And then it cracks open and releases Ivan Ooze, a morphological being who ruled the Earth 6,000 years ago before he was lured into a hyperlock chamber and buried deep underground by Zordon and a group of young warriors. So that, I guess, is similar to the thing that Rita Repulsa was locked up in on the moon.
The watches too that the Rangers are wearing, is it beeps, and I swear it is the Kim Possible beep. It was like beep 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 beep, and I was like, what the? Oh my gosh!
No, it's the Go Go Power Rangers.
I know, but it sounds exactly like the Kim Possible beep.
So maybe that was meant to be a tribute on Kim Possible.
Maybe so, yeah. Because as soon as it did it, I was like, what? Wait, what? I had to rewind it and hear it again. And for the rest of the day, I've just been singing, oh, yeah, I'm your basic average girl, and I'm here to save the world.
I've only seen a little of Kim Possible, but I recall it being much better than Power Rangers.
Yeah, that was also very much my time.
New jam.
Mm-hmm.
It says here the Rangers find and confront him. It's a bit of a jump, but I can't remember how they find and confront him. Did Zordon send them after him?
Yeah, well, they first we see Alpha, and they Zordon like calls them, and they get the mission from him.
Right. So they go to confront him, but Ivan unleashes some ooze men on them. So the thing about Ivan that was kind of bugging me, but nobody cares. He's been locked up for 6,000 years. Has somehow been closely monitoring pop culture all that time and human history, because he's always making, a lot of times when you have this sort of time travel or I've been frozen or whatever, the person, they just don't understand anything. Ivan comes out and he speaks perfect English. He does W.C. Fields impersonations. He makes reference to various world events in history. I can't remember specifically now what they were, but he talks about like Cleopatra or Napoleon or things like that he shouldn't have any idea of. So I don't know how a hyperlock chamber works, but apparently buried underground, he is still aware of everything that's going on around him worldwide. So that bugged the shit out of me, but I understand this is a movie for 4-year-olds, so they just didn't care. So the Rangers fight a bunch of ooze men. They're like putties, but they're purple and they splatter into ooze when you beat them. And
The sound, the music, the one-liners, the martial arts. It's morph time. This when they like morph, and they're like,
yeah. I actually made notes somewhere on here. Yeah, let me get them.
and with the Go-Go Power Rangers in the back, oh my gosh, like I was screaming, just like so like, oh, it just really hit me so good.
I wrote tub of snot. He oozes back, and he hates Zordon and Eltar.
Yeah, because when the bad guys come in and they're like, "You've been," the one lady bad guy is like, "You've been looking for a tub of snot for the last blah blah blah. You've searched the world high and low, and all you got was this tub of snot." Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I want to get my notes though is because the soundtrack to this movie is not sparing the cash on these songs. The Free Ride.
Well, it was a $15 million budget.
I wrote them down as they came up because these were over and over again songs that I knew and I couldn't believe that they paid for it. Devo, are you ready? So, yeah, I wrote Rita is into Ivan.
Yeah, she is.
He complains that it smells like teenagers. Rangers show up late. Ivan is disguised as a guard, and he's doing a W.C. Fields impersonation. Then he summons his flunkies, and they play "Are You Ready" by Devo, and it's Morphin time.
Yeah, she's like Kimberly when they see the cop who's actually Ooze. She's like, Hi, have you seen any morphological beings around here?
We're not Power Rangers. I'm just asking for school paper. Yeah. I know. I was watching one of the trying to get into Power Rangers. I was watching one of the later, more recent series, and they were building some machine and trying to create Power Rangers, and they're all saying Power Rangers, and I'm like, oh, so in this world, just Power Rangers just means superhero, just because it seemed to have nothing to do with the lore of this version. Mm-hmm. It was just like, we're going to create Power Rangers now. And I'm like, I don't know how you're doing that. I don't understand what's going on. But it's just, that's just a term for a superhero or anybody with powers. Just how it works. I don't know. But while they're screwing his flunkies, Ivan goes into the command center.
Yeah. Ay.
You need a power coin to get in there, but somehow he gets in anyway.
Because he oozes in. He doesn't have bones or anything. And we see that whenever the Rangers are fighting the purple dudes that he like releases on them, that when they're trying to like find them with their, I don't know, technology, their scanning technology, that they don't have any like bones or anything because they can't find them on their like sensors. So he just like oozes right in the door.
Yeah. And here's where he makes one of the references I was talking about, which I actually thought was kind of funny.
All the things that I have missed! The Black Plague! The Spanish Inquisition! The Brady Bunch reunion!
So on the one hand, I was like, okay, that was kind of funny, but I was also like, how the fuck does he know what the Brady Bunch is? So, and one of the Rangers has a bad feeling about this place.
Oh, you mean the like blue lit building resembling a parking garage?
Oh, I wrote every gesture is a whoosh.
Yes, the sound effects are so much. Yes, they are so good and like zany, like through the whole movie. Just like every little thing makes a sound effect, and it is so delicious for my ear holes.
They use a power scope to try and find the bad guy. I wrote, are the costumes more leathery or vinyl-y than normal? Did you notice that? Is that just me?
I didn't notice.
It looked like they had upgraded movie costumes, rather than just the cloth that they normally wear.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a minion fight with the purple guys, and they win the fight but lose power.
Yeah,
and
their
return
power
to find that headquarters trashed. Yeah, they find that HQ trashed, and Zordon is outside of his time warp.
No.
And is in Baby Kal-El's ship from Superman the movie for some reason.
And aging rapidly. He's turning into a raisin.
Yeah, and possibly a different actor, or does he just look dramatically different outside of his time warp?
Yeah, I think he just, I don't know, because I also was like, whoa, what? But I think it's just because of the way they like blow up and stretch his face.
Yeah.
Look at the big floating head.
Right. He looked totally different.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm checking here though. No, I think it is a different guy.
Oh.
Because he's got a credit for this movie, but I don't see a credit for the series. So I think it's a different guy outside of when he was outside of the time warp. But we do see him in the time warp. Oh well. Anyway, he's dying. They got to go get new power somehow.
Yeah, Alpha kind of gives him the rundown and tells him that he has power to get them to this place, but no power to get them back.
Yes, the distant planet Phaedos, where they can obtain the great power and save Zordon. But if they don't, I guess they'll be stuck there.
Stuck there forever.
Meanwhile, on the moon, Ivan usurps Rita and Zed, shrinking and trapping them in a snow globe. Forces Goldar and Mordant to be his servants. Does he force them? It seems like they just kind of sign up.
No, he forces them. He says you can either join them in the snow globe or you can work for. And they like look at each other and they're like, and there's like some like sound effect like, and they're like, we never liked those guys anyway.
Wait, I mean, it's true. They're terrible bosses. They're really abusive. But yeah, I'd written down earlier, it looked like Rita was into Ivan.
Yeah.
But now she's gone off him at this point because she's like, oh, finally, a man who knows what he's doing. She's kind of, so basically saying, Zed, you suck. Uh-huh. This guy knows what's what, but then gets shrunk and stuck in a snow globe.
Yeah, because Ooze comes in and announces basically that he's taking over and he's the boss now. And obviously they're like, no. Then he just spits a slime ball that turns into oozy bird warriors.
Yes. So these, his Tengu warriors, which are sort of crow men who can just fly to the other planet.
Mm-hmm.
There's no indication of how far away this planet is, but the Power Rangers have to be teleported there. These guys just fly there.
Well, Power Rangers don't have wings.
There you go. And then he starts an ad campaign to get kids to want the ooze. And he's doing like a medicine show out in the street and commercials on TV. And this is to get them to bring the ooze to their parents, and that hypnotizes them into becoming his workforce to dig up his ectomorphicons, twin war machines built during his reign 6,000 years ago, I guess. And then Fred finds his father missing and tracks him down to the construction site and figures out what's going on.
Meanwhile, on the other planet, enter in my first lesbian awakening.
Yes.
Woo, yeesh.
It says here the Rangers are almost killed by the Tengu, but rescued by Dulcia.
Yep.
Who tells them all to fuck off until they name drop Zordon.
Mommy, sorry. Mommy, sorry. Mommy, sorry.
Yeah, but when they say Zordon, she's like, "Oh, you're with Zordon? Oh, never mind. Come this way. I will help you get the power." Well, I'll show you where it is. I can't actually help because then I'll turn old, just like Zordon. So she gives them some sort of ninja outfits with hoods and shit.
And new spirit animals.
Yes, gives them new spirit animals. Takes them to a ruined ancient temple where they will have to overcome obstacles to acquire the power of the ninja, and awakens each of their animal spirits. I think she just gives them, assigns them.
Mm-hmm.
Aisha is the bear, Rocky is the ape, Billy is the wolf, Kimberly is the crane, Adam is the frog, and none too happy about it. And Timothy is the falcon.
But he does get a kiss from Dulcia, so then he's
That's
like,
true.
okay,
You have to be the shitty frog, so here's a kiss on the forehead, on the cheek. Better than nothing.
Your sacred animals will guide you. Go now.
She then shifts. She then turns into David Bowie from Labyrinth. And, well, into his owl form. Not into his codpiece form, his owl form. And fucks off.
Dance, magic, dance.
Back, Sarah. Turn back, Sarah, before it's too late. At some point in the future, we will do that movie as a Patreon exclusive. Folks, we have a Patreon.
Fuck yeah.
Patreon.com/MMFTG. Join us there for exclusive episodes, early releases, random shit occasionally.
No ads.
No ads. Please support us. And speaking of ads, it seems like a good time to take a break. And then we'll be back with that interview with TJ Storn.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, we are here at G-Fest with Mr. TJ Storm. He is the motion capture artist, actor, performer. What term is proper?
Motion capture is the technology. Performance capture is the art that actors bring to it. So I'm a performance capture artist.
And he does that for Godzilla. We are talking to Godzilla, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
This is our first G-Fest, and we understand it's your first G-Fest as well.
It is. G-Fest is an amazing community of people who absolutely love the kaiju genre, and especially Godzilla. It is amazing.
Yeah, we're having a great time, and it looks like you're having a great time too. We've been watching you with all the fans, and it seems like a couple times you've been fanboying out yourself.
I am a fan. I'm a fan of this stuff. Otherwise, it wouldn't be as fun. But if you love the stuff, it makes it even more exciting to be a part of.
I just want to say too, I've watched you over the weekend, and I love how you give every single fan the attention as an individual and as a person. It's so great and it's so genuine, and we've been able to see that just from a distance. So we really appreciate you and your energy and your genuine connection with everybody. It's awesome.
Thank you very much.
Last night you were given an award by the convention, the Mangled Skyscraper Award. Tell us, how did that feel?
It's an honor. I mean, I believe the first one went to Haruo Nakajima. So to be in that company is spectacular, and I am deeply, deeply honored. It's awesome.
Yeah, we could tell. It seemed like a very emotional moment for you. And it was really cool, folks. You didn't see it. I don't know if we got any pictures of it, but
I did get it on video.
Okay, it looks like a trophy, but it's a mangled skyscraper, and they're using a new design this year. So TJ was the first one.
Paul.
Yes, Paul at Dojo Studios constructed that one. So your background is in dance and martial arts and physical stuff, and that's how that led to you getting this sort of motion capture work?
I started as a dancer because I was a super nerd and was definitely not cool, so I wanted to be cool. I learned how to pop and lock and breakdance.
Oh,
and then I got a record contract. Then I got screwed out of a record contract. Then I jumped into acting, and I did a whole bunch of kickboxing movies. Then I went to acting school, and then around that time I started doing the first performance capture stuff with the earliest versions of motion capture, and I still bounce between all of them, between live action acting and performance capture and voicing things.
What was the first motion capture you did?
I think the first motion capture project that I worked on was called, there was something before it, but it wasn't a project that anybody knows of, but the first one that people have heard of was, I think it was called Quake Arena.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that one, but
it's an old video game.
Quake,
Oh,
okay.
Quake.
Okay.
And that version was called Quake Arena.
I see. I have heard of Quake, the video game. Yes. So when you're playing Godzilla, how do you go about capturing that essence of Godzilla?
It was in the creation of the character that I found his spirit, and we had to build it because this was a new version that hadn't existed in its current form. Yeah. So I went back to Haruo Nakajima-san's original work, and I looked at that, and then we were doing it in performance capture suits as opposed to the 230-pound suit that Haruo Nakajima had to wear and the others had to wear. So I was free of that. So I tried to keep the spirit of the creature while giving him the freedom of movement of something that has lived for as long as it has lived and could be as ferocious and free as it is.
Right. Because like when Andy Serkis is doing King Kong, he can just go look at a bunch of gorillas in the zoo and study them, but you can't just go look at Godzilla.
Yeah, we had to piece it together between what Warner Brothers and Legendary wanted and the production team wanted and the creative team wanted, and the pieces that I put together from live animals to give it a realistic sense and still give it a personality that made sense.
Right. Well, I mean, I think you did a good job, and I guess they did too, because they keep asking you to come back and do it.
Absolutely. It's really, really fun, and it's a huge honor to be in like I said, that company of absolutely amazing performers that have brought this national treasure, Japanese national treasure, to life.
Yeah. It's great. Is there anything you can tell us about that you're at liberty to tell us about that you're working on? I realize all work is a little stalled right now.
Sure, but well, in our industry, most of the things that we get to work on are super top secret.
Right.
They're buried under NDAs to the point that sometimes I won't even know what the thing is before I walk into the studio. And they're like, hey, you're Superman or whatever it is. And I'm like, whoa.
I've heard some interviews recently where someone, like, after the interview, the agent was like, oh, by the way, that was for Star Trek. And I'm like,
yeah, you're like, oh, come on. I could have done differently.
I was auditioning for Kirk? What?
Yes. So I wish I could talk about all the cool stuff that's coming. There's so much awesome things.
Well, we know there's a lot of MonsterVerse stuff coming. A cartoon just came out. There's a TV series coming out, and some more movies, I assume. So we'll just assume that you're going to be involved in some of that.
Fingers crossed. Yay!
But I guess you're on strike right now.
Yes. Screen Actors Guild is on strike alongside our sister union, the Writers Guild, for lots of excellent reasons. So we're going to continue striking until we find a more equal footing.
Yeah. One of my sisters is in the guild and she's on strike. So we absolutely support that. You guys stay out as long as you need to.
Thank you.
And I'm not in the Writers Guild, but I do a little writing myself, and I sympathize with the writers. And, we're kind of a liberal family. We have a union mindset. We understand. So although we're all sad to miss out on our favorite TV shows and movies, have to wait a little while.
Sure.
It's not going to kill us.
Sure.
But it's the difference between you guys earning a proper living and getting a fair share of what the just huge piles of money that they make from this stuff and not getting a fair share of that.
Absolutely. They make it seem like all actors are rich. Literally only 2 or 3% probably make 80% of the money, and the rest of them, they're really working people. They have to go to work every week. They have to hustle for work every week. And even the people who are doing background work, they call them extras sometimes, but people who are doing that, what part of this fight is about is the production companies would like to digitize an extra's face and then use it forever without ever paying that extra again. They want to pay them one single day's work, which is maybe $160, $180, and then use their face forever the way they want. And that's not quite right. So that's just one of the things that we're fighting against, to make sure that the people who are artists continue to be able to make a living like everybody else wants to make a living.
Yeah. And you know what? Even the rich actors, they're the ones we're paying to see. No one's coming in to see the CEO. Nobody cares who the head of the company is, but they're taking the biggest chunk of the money, and we don't care for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
TJ, thank you so much.
Thank you so
we know you've had a long day.
A long weekend.
Yeah.
No, it's been amazing. And the people here have given me energy to blast through this. It's been absolutely wonderful. So thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Also, Jessica told me that I had to show you my tattoo, and I
want
to show it to you.
Yes.
Show me. What? That is amazing. I'm looking at the most epic, legendary Godzilla tattoo on her leg. That is awesome.
Folks, we have some pictures on our Instagram of Honeybee's
That is awesome.
tattoo.
So
that is spectacular.
Shout out, Paolo. Thank you.
It's awesome.
Thank you for joining us today, TJ Storm.
Thank you.
And we're back. TJ was so great, wasn't he?
He is so great. He really is. He really carries the Godzilla spirit.
So meanwhile, back to the movie. The Rangers make their way to the monolith housing the great power, using their wits to defeat the live fossilized dinosaur skeleton.
Oh man, this part is so good. This part I really remember. It was one of those just unforgettable. I also really like dinosaurs. I was a really big Jurassic Park fan. It was like a staple in our house, to watch the Jurassic Park movies. We watched them over and over and over again. So this part really stuck out to me. I remembered it very well.
So they're getting their butts kicked by this dinosaur skeleton, and so one of them ends up on top of it and pulls out the right bone and makes it all fall apart.
Guess you're glad you listened to your anatomy. No, he says, "Oh, finally, your anatomy class is paying off," or something like that.
Then they have to fight the temple's stone guardians and retrieve the great power, restoring their suits. It doesn't restore their suits, it gives them new suits. So they're wearing these cloth sort of ninja kind of outfits, but now they're back in skin tight ranger outfits, but with different themes. The same colors but new details, and little things indicating their spirit animal.
I love the ninjetti costumes, though.
Two Zords to go with it.
Yep.
On Earth, Ivan's ectomorphicons are completely unearthed, and he unleashes them on Angel Grove, ordering the parents to walk off a cliff at the construction site. I don't know why he wants to rule the world, but doesn't need any subjects. He's willing to just toss these perfectly good subjects off
Well,
a
he
cliff.
did, or they were already like building and shit for him or whatever. There's like that scene where he like makes the one guy dance. And they're all like working and like moving the rocks, and then he's like, "I'm bored." He's just like got a power trip.
He's a garbage person. So
Slime
then these
ball, if you will.
Fred recruits Bulk, Skull, and the other kids who head to the construction site to save the parents.
Go, Ponchito, go!
The Rangers return. There was at one point I was like, what happened to that kid? He seemed like he was supposed to be important. And then he does finally come back around to him. At this point, there's a huge part of the movie where he's not anywhere to be seen. The Rangers return with their new animal-themed Ninja Zords, and after a difficult struggle, destroy one of Ivan's ectomorphicons, Scorpitron. So this part might be the part I hated the most.
Because the bugs are why?
No, because it just didn't age well. I'm sure at the time.
Yeah.
It looked really good. It's really bad 90s CGI.
Oh, it's so good.
Has not the Power Rangers. It's always been a guy in a suit. The Zord, when the Zords all assemble and then fight the kaiju, it's been a guy in a suit in the past. But now it's really shitty CGI, which was probably top of the line in 1995, but does not hold up at all. I mean, look, there was a show I used to love called Reboot. That was a computer-generated cartoon, and it is just hard to look at now. But at the time, it was very cool and awesome. But now it's very stiff and blocky.
Yeah.
So, it may be unfair, but it was not a pleasant experience now watching this.
Oh man, I totally disagree. I loved it so much. I was like, oh, this is so funny. It's so good. And then when Tommy does the ninjetti corkscrew kick, I almost spit my beverage out. He literally yells corkscrew kick, and it's like
Ivan takes control of Hornitor, which I guess is the other one, and battles the Rangers himself as they combine their Zords to form the Ninja Megazord and then later Ninja Mega Falcon Zord.
Yeah.
Is Tommy not with them all the time? Does he come and go? I don't know. Well, I know he was, there was, 5 Rangers, and then he's the 6th Ranger. And I wasn't sure. I knew he started as a bad guy and then converted and joined up with them. I don't know. It just seems like they have to add his Zord to their Zord. Why wasn't he just part of it to begin with?
Because he's like the leader of the pack in this movie.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the kids push the parents back while Fred, with the help from Bulk and Skull, sprays them with a large amount of water. The Rangers lure Ivan into space and knock him right into the path of Ryan's comet. That's why the comet. I've forgotten that it actually ended up being important, which destroys it. Ivan's death breaks his spell on the parents, who are reunited with their children. The Rangers return to the command center, but are distraught to find Zordon has died.
No, you're too late, Rangers.
But of course, he doesn't stay dead. Instead of giving up hope, they use the great power to restore the command center and resurrect Zordon, returning him to his time warp. Everything returns to normal in Angel Grove as a celebration is held at the harbor with fireworks and a message saying, "Thank you, Power Rangers," which offends.
Thank you, Power Rangers.
I forgot while we were talking. I forgot about the songs, but there's a track list right here on Wikipedia. The Power Rangers Orchestra playing "Go Go Power Rangers." Red Hot Chili Peppers, "Higher Ground," Shampoo, "Trouble," Devo, "Are You Ready?" Snap, "The Power," produced by Snap. Fun Thomas featuring Carl Douglas singing "Kung Fu Dancing." I thought it was just Kung Fu Fighting. Did they change the words around some, or was it a remix, maybe? Van Halen, "Dreams," Dan Hartman, "Free Ride." They Might Be Giants, who are one of my favorite bands that I've seen in concert more than once. Sense Around, which just plays for like 5 seconds as Fred's dad is getting out of his car. I don't know. Like he was maybe listening to it on the radio and it turns off. I don't know why. I appreciate that they use They Might Be Giants, but it seemed like a waste. Power Jet, Ay Ay Ay, Alpha song. That was a closing credits song. Graham Revel, Firebird, and Aaron Waters, The Mighty Raw, Cross My Line. Oh, bonus track. That was probably one that was on the album, but not actually in the film. Sometimes they pay for a song and then end up not using it, so they still stick it on the soundtrack album because they may as well because they paid for it. So there you go.
Wait. There is also, at the very end, Fred has like a conversation about how he wants to be a Power Ranger, like a silver or a gold. And then there's an after credits scene.
That's right. With what's in it? Goldar thinks, yes, the mid-credit scene, Goldar,
leader of the universe,
being served by Mordant, but then Zen and Rita come in and he panics. Because I guess when Ivan died, the snow globe burst and they reverted to their forms, their normal sizes. I've got the power. I wrote up that's the power.
I've got the power.
We're not back to a floating head. I've got the power. Did they play that? Did I read that? Anyway, there you go. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The Flaming Crap Bird.
How many stars are you going to give it, Precious?
-5.
Oh my God.
One half of a star. I did not enjoy it.
1/2 of a star. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah, because I love it so much, and it was.
I understand.
Like I said,
Power
near
of
to my
nostalgia.
heart. Yeah, exactly.
I understand and I sympathize, but I cannot agree. It was not. Oh my God, where's my list? What is next week? Folks, I don't want to be that guy that goes to France and then can't stop talking about how he went to France, but we were at G-Fest last week, and we recorded a lot of content, but we're going to spread it out over the upcoming episodes. I'll probably put it all up on our Patreon sooner than that, but also the panel I gave, we have video for that, so I'm going to put that on YouTube once Honeybee sends it to me. So listen for that in the coming weeks, our various interviews. Next week's movie is Gamera 2, Attack of Legion.
Yay!
Which you can watch on Amazon Prime.
Fuck yes.
I'm not sure where Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie is available officially, but you can find it on YouTube. So I guess that's going to do it for this week.
Hell yeah.
I'm glad you enjoyed watching this movie that week because I felt bad
I
about
did.
making it.
I enjoyed it so much. In fact, like, I'm so excited that we did it. Like, I was so happy that we were, like, even talking about it because I could not, like, just kind of because it's so bad and because it's a kid's thing. And then also, you know, it's questionable, you know, like, yeah. But it does fit in for sure. But I'm just, like, super glad that we're doing it. And, yeah, I enjoyed it so much. It was just really good for my little baby heart.
Yeah. Well, we've got Turbo on the list in a few weeks, a couple of months. Turbo Way Power Rangers movie.
Fuck yes.
But then we won't hear from them again until the remake.
Yeah.
Which I'll be curious to hear your thoughts on that when we get to it. Okay, until next week, folks, I have been Precious D.
And I have been Honey B.
Remember to keep calm and take shelter in basements.
And please don't misuse science.
We won't see you, but you will hear us next time on Monster Movie Fun Time Go.
Beep, 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 beep.
You've been listening to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review us on your podcasting platform of choice. Our theme song is by the Texacato Folk Rock Punk featuring Lita Lopez. You can support the show, find links to our social media, and even leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/MMFTG.
All time go!